Hi, this is Dan Wolfson with Pragmatic Data Research. I'm also a contributor and maintainer of the Egeria open source project. Egeria is an open source project that supports the management, exploration, and governance for data and AI projects. It works with tools that you may already have, and it helps you to bidirectionally integrate those tools so that they become more valuable to you. It helps you to establish and use a broader knowledge graph of your environment, coordinating the governance, exploration, and use of this information among people, tools, and automations. And of course, it's extensible and configurable to your needs. In this video, we'll be providing a quick overview of Egeria Workspaces. Egeria Workspaces is a quick start environment for exploring and using Egeria that we built using Docker Compose Jupyter Notebooks and our Python client called PyEgeria. It includes support not just for Egeria, and in fact several different deployment styles of Egeria, but also for a variety of other runtimes that we find useful when integrating Egeria into another environment. And as a starting point for your own work. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a little tour about some of the things that you can do with Egeria Workspaces. And then in the next video, I'll show you how you can install and configure it for your environment. Great, let's get started. The primary way that we interact with Egeria Workspaces is through a Jupyter Notebook environment. Here, I'm showing our basic Jupyter Notebook environment, and on the left you can see that there's a number of file folders that we use to share information, not just within the Jupyter Notebook, but also with Egeria and with some of the other runtimes. So we allow you to cross-mount some of your own file systems into the different runtimes to make it easier to use and to externalize. On the right-hand side, you can see that we just have a blank canvas, a number of different kinds of things that we can open up, whether it's a terminal or something else. And if we open up a terminal, we can just start by trying our command line interface called Hey Egeria. And so we can say Hey Egeria space TUI for textual user interface. And that'll give us a quick overview of the different commands that we have within our command line environment. There's currently about 70 some odd commands, and we're adding to that all the time. And so if we want to, we can take a look and we can take a look at server status. And here we'll just run the server status. And you can see that it's showing that we're running 4 Egeria servers and they're currently active. Okay, so let's take a look at a little bit more complex environment. And this is the same thing, just that in Jupyter Notebooks, we can split up the window into different areas. Down here on the left, in the lower right left-hand corner, you can see that we have our little server status widget, and that's from running Hey Egeria. Above that, in the upper right, we can see that here we're running a widget that's showing glossary definitions for glossary terms. And so that again is another widget that's in the Hey Egeria command set. This one is showing a list of collections that we maintain within Egeria. And then this one is showing us different assets that we have within our metadata repository. And it's showing where we found those assets. So there's a command that allows us to search for assets across all different kinds of things within the metadata repository. And that's what this is executing. Over here, we're showing a different kind of a picture, which is showing us the project organization for a clinical trials management project. And again, Egeria just has management of projects built into it. It can, of course, integrate with your other project management systems. On the bottom, next to our status widget, we're showing an engine action status. And so these are the different governance actions, the latest set of governance actions that have taken place. And so Egeria provides you a way not only to execute these actions, but observability into what's taking place, when it started, what the request parameters were, what the status of the action was, what the core results of the action were at the end. This widget is just as an example showing us a list of catalogs that we're integrated with. And you can see that, in fact, right now we're integrated with a Unity catalog, and this is the properties that we were able to collect. And so with Egeria, we can integrate and exchange information with other catalog systems and other tools. This is just an example of some of what we collect from the Unity catalog here. And of course, we have integrations. And so this is just the list of integrations that are currently running and whether they're waiting or they're actually doing something and if there's a particular target that they're communicating with. And again, you can see that we're working directly with the Unity catalog here. That's just a quick overview of what you can do in Egeria, and Egeria is built on Egeria. There's a separate video on Egeria that you can find on this channel. Now, of course, this is a Jupyter environment, and that means that we want to work with Jupyter notebooks. And so the Jupyter notebooks allow us to work with Egeria and to execute the commands. And in fact, we can execute many of the same commands that we can execute from Egeria within the notebook environment. We can also do some additional things, such as we can display mermaid graphs. So this is, we're doing an asset query here. So we're getting an asset lineage mermaid graph for a particular asset ID, and we can find that asset ID in some other way. And then we're rendering that graph, and you can see that we can take the output of the mermaid markdown that Egeria will produce for you, and then we can just render it directly. This render mermaid command is just loaded into the Python library, and this Egeria tech get asset lineage is using the PyEgeria interface. So we can do similar kinds of things. This is what the mermaid markdown looks like that we output. And in fact, in this particular case, we're generating a different kind of mermaid graph a little bit. And so we can just see that we have a lot of flexibility in how we can visualize what's happening within Egeria. This workbook, again, another starter workbook, shows us how we can survey and catalog a Unity catalog and just walks through the different steps of how to do that within the Python environment that we have of Jupyter and provides instructions about how it all works and then how the different processes work that are collecting up that information and then displaying it so that we can see what's going on. So that provides a brief tour of what we can do. We have an increasing number of starter notebooks that allow you to work with Egeria and run a number of different scenarios, but they serve as good starting points for some of your own scenarios. And that's what we hope that you'll do. In the next video, we'll walk through a little bit more about how the Egeria Workspaces is put together, how we install it, and how we configure it. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye now.